Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
Atn covers it all.
This is Atn Global News at 9. First, the headlines. Port Harcourt Aba train commences operation. NLC laments rising food prices. Fuel crisis. Tinubu reaffirms commitment to workers. Naira rebounds, gains 28.15 Naira against dollar. UK confirms first migrants held for Rwanda. Sheyi to reconcile Wizkid Davido. Thiago Silva receives 3 offers.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody.
Federal government has promised that it would ensure that there is smooth train operation in the south and southeastern zones of the country. Federal government also noted that it would ensure adequate security for users of the trail lines running through the 2 zones. The government spoke while flagging off train operation on the first phase of the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail line running through Port Harcourt to Aba, Abia State. Minister of Transportation, Senator Said Alkali, will commission the commencement of road services on the Eastern Corridor narrow gauge line in Port Harcourt, explained that the locomotives have been tested, expressing the hope that no issue of breakdown of locomotives along the line would be experienced. Alkali stated that the completion and commencement of services on the corridor underscored President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's commitment in the transportation sector and bringing succor to Nigerians. Fubara to implement federal government salary increase, River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has promised to implement the salary increase recently by the federal government for workers in the state. The governor spoke on Wednesday, May 1st at the Yakubu Gowon Stadium, Port Harcourt, during the 2024 International Workers' Day with the theme, People First. The governor at the event was bestowed with an award as the Labour Champion of River State and named the most Labour-friendly governor. He also received a gift of a Bible and a portrait from the state civil service. Fubara acknowledged workers as critical human resource that had continued to contribute immensely to the sustained long-term economic growth of the state. The governor said that workers remained indispensable from the production lines of small and big factories to government offices and institutions. Aaron's Health Foundation unveils 3rd annual colloquium in commemoration of the 2024 World Malaria Day. Ministry of Health, in conjunction with Aaron's Ekripo Health Foundation, partnering with the Association Community Pharmacists of Nigeria, Association of Female Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria, Faculty of Basic Clinical Science, River State University presents her 3rd annual colloquium to talk about ways to achieve zero malaria across the country with the theme, Uniting Forces, Healthcare Collaboration for Zero Malaria. Highlights of the events include medical advices on zero malaria elimination, forums and seminars including awards for most active health practitioners in the state. Convener Aaron Spieth Ekperipo said the third annual colloquium is aimed at deliberating necessary approach among stakeholders on ways to eliminate malaria endemic.
Whatever we are doing at this point in time, I believe that we are talking about reconciliation. So when I heard the headline, reconciliation and all of that, I was thinking that the reconciliation process was supposed to be on the aspect of looking at what is going on between APC and PDP, or the father and son situation. That's what I was actually thinking. Because the father and son situation is something that is expected, that the governor of Rivers State has also talked about father and son. Going forward, we are also much aware, even though we believe that in a state where we want to achieve success and then see how development and governance is given the needed attention, it's so sad that we see Tony Okocha, who's supposed to be a statesman.
Well, basically, we're looking at seeing how we could bring stakeholders around the healthcare space, basically healthcare professionals, researchers, policymakers, community leaders, to come in and stir up conversations around how to eliminate malaria in Rivers State. Thank God for the willingness of the Rivers State government today, and of course the governor and the World Health Organization. Everybody is making efforts to make sure that we eradicate malaria in Rivers State and beyond. Basically, before now, we all know that around the world, Nigeria has one of the greatest burden of the malaria. It's actually endemic in this part of the world. But Rivers States have done well in terms of the primary health care that are now all over the local government, where malaria treated nets has been sent across. And of course, there is this program, I think it's called Reef Chip. In that program, they have this insurance scheme for citizens of the state, where they can access these treatments for free. And of course, it is as a result of the good hand of the governor of the state.
Speaking on eliminating malaria, experts task health practitioners on the need for collaboration and sensitization at the community levels, including the roles of the state government in the fight against malaria.
When we educate the communities around us, when we take this message of malaria, just not only around the urban areas, but take them to the rural areas, then we will be able to have a buy-in of the communities, of the leaders. How do we do that? You know, these days, even if you're the best physician and all that, you tell your clients not to do this, not to do that. They actually go back to their leaders, the church leaders, to actually have that confirmation whether they should take the drugs or not to, or to actually comply with what we have said or not. And so engaging the leaders in the community, like the churches, the mosques, the traditionalists, everyone is actually important.
So specifically or generally, we are intentional about following what the National Malaria Elimination Program says, their policies. You will agree that it's not only about Rivers State, it's about the 36 states and the FCT. So Rivers State is not about to reinvent the wheel. So the policies that guide the 36 states is what we key into. So basically, we always do that intentionally at the beginning of the year when the work plan has come and they say, this is where we feel there should be an emphasis. The state keys into that. So in being specific, at last year, I think it was from last year, we realized that nobody can do this alone. We need that word, collaboration.
So on behalf of Atn Global Health Foundation and the ACPN Rivers State Chapter, this is an award of appreciation to the Honorable Chairman, Honorable Erastus C. Awotu, PhD, GSSRS, JP. Thank you very much and God bless you.
Definitely, malaria is a tropical disease, so one of our most endemic disease as it is in Africa, especially the West African sub-region, which is where Nigeria belongs to. And a lot is being done But it's like we take 10 steps forward and 1 step forward and 10 steps backwards in the management of malaria and awareness. People still think that palm oil, if you eat a lot of oil, you have malaria. There are some meals that will induce malaria. And you know, there are lots of misconceptions. So this is more like an academic session, the colloquium, bringing in professionals from different parts of the medical field to talk about the way forward. How do we achieve zero malaria, especially in Rivers State? How do you get people to sleep under insecticide-treated mosquito nets? How do you get people to not to do self-medication? Even people that are stressed, someone hasn't slept for like 3 days will tell he has malaria. Everything, malaria is blamed for everything. Some people even believe that witchcrafts, your village people can give you malaria.
We all know the scourge of malaria. Typically in the clinical setting, when you see 10 cases if you see 10 cases, I tell you up to half of it or more are cases of malaria. In children it's even worse. And it has contributed globally to the burden of disease, especially under 5 children. You know, a lot of deaths, you know, from malaria. Collaboration to see how the burden of the malaria scourge can be reduced or to be nipped. But at the point we are talking about prevention and all that, but currently we are talking about elimination of malaria.
Cross River State Governor Basi Ochi has announced a new minimum wage of 40,000 naira for the state workers, saying that the new wage implementation aligns with the realities of the time in the state rather than sentiment. Governor Otuwa, participating in the Workers' Day celebration at the UJ Eswene Stadium in Calabar, is to be prioritized as a first-line charge. He emphasized that the theme of this year's Workers' Day is People First, and interestingly coincides with administration's mantra. He expressed goodwill and solidarity with the workers during the 2024 Workers' Day. He emphasized the importance of a strong relationship between the government and its workforce to create wealth and improve livelihoods. He assured that his government had prioritized the well-being of workers by ensuring timely payment of salaries and pensions, conducting promotions, and planning to employ qualified youths. Mother of 4, Nata Igbinovia, was hacked to death by her neighbor and his son while trying to intervene in a fight. The incident occurred on a Saturday at Okbaga Eware, a community on the outskirts of Benin City, Edo State. Patience, the deceased daughter, said the incident occurred when her mother intervened in a dispute between her cousin and the neighbors. Speaking to newsmen, Patience said the suspect resorted to using a knife and an axe to take her life. She added that upon witnessing the lifeless body of her mother on the ground, the culprits escaped the scene. Speaking on Wednesday, spokesperson for the State Police Command, Chidi Nwabuzo, confirmed the incident with our correspondent and said the investigation is ongoing. He identified the suspect as Philip Ayo and said he had been arrested. Shaibu tackles Igodalo, former Deputy Governor of Edo State. Philip Shaibu has urged the residents of the state not to vote for a governorship candidate who relies on an interpreter to address the people. This was as Shaibu urged residents to vote for a homeboy as the next governor of the state. He made the appeal in Urua, the administrative headquarters of the Esan Central Local Government area of the state. He went on to say that a candidate who needed an interpreter did not qualify as a homeboy since he couldn't speak the Edo dialect. People's Democratic Party governorship candidate Aswa Igodalo had faced criticism for hiring an interpreter to announce his intentions to his kinsmen at a ward in Ewohimi, Esan Southeast Local Government area of the state. Igodalo, who was campaigning for the PDP governorship ticket, addressed the crowd in English language, asking for their support, while an interpreter translated his words into Esan. IPOB won Soludo, indigenous people of Biafra, on Wednesday, cautioned Governor Charles Soludo to stop playing politics with security in the state. This is as IPOB accused Soludo of being desperate for a second term, hence his decision to succumb to pressure from Fulani hegemony. In a statement issued by its spokesman, Emma Powerful, IPOB lamented that the nefarious activities of the Fulani terrorists masquerading as herdsmen in Anambra State, especially within Dunokofia, Oka North, South, Orumba North and South local government areas is unbecoming. IPOB charged residents of Anambra State to rise and fight all forms of insecurity in the state. Federal government to pay compensation for coastal demolitions. Minister of Works David Umahi has announced that the federal government plans to pay 2.75 billion naira as compensation to property owners affected by the demolition required for the construction of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway Wednesday, May 1st. Umahi said that the highway is projected to stretch from Channel 0 to Channel 3. He announced this during a stakeholders meeting held in Lagos today. According to him, more compensation is expected to be paid in the coming days. Analysts have expressed mixed reaction regarding the effectiveness of the Lagos State Fund's disbursement to students, describing it as unsustainable. Speaking on Atlantic Television Blowout, a socio-political analyst, Victor Akoro, said that the funds is disbursed without a sustainable strategy for economic viability.
It's about something that will be sustainable. And if you do this now, what happens to the next set of students who will be coming in? So that why don't we try to get a platform where we can send this money into other things that could help empower students, that would help them.
Victor Akora also emphasized on the need for entire academic system funding.
School, how much is the cost of education or cost of school fees at that time? And how much is the scholarship worth? We should be able to have a balance between these things, because what happens is when the government gives such aids and it's literally not able to answer between the cost of the education or the school fees at that time, the money is being used for other things. And these are my challenges with government trying to just give. We should try to build something that will really be sustainable. In fact, I think it's even better putting that money into the school system.
Recall that the Lagos State government had disbursed the students' fund to the tune of 849.56 million naira in scholarships. Lagos Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu will host a Justice Reform Summit with the theme Enhancing the Administration of Justice for Economic Growth, Investment Protection and Security in Lagos State on May 27 and 28. This is contained in a statement issued by Titilayo Shitabe Jeje, Solicitor General Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Ministry of Justice on Wednesday. Shitabe Jeje said that Sanwo-Olu would be the chief host at the summit, which would take place at Marriott Hotel, GRA Ikeja, Lagos. She said the Chief Justice of Federation, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, would be the chairman, while the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister for Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, would be the special guest of honor. Shitabe Jeje said the Lagos State government had become a pathfinder for justice reform following its various landmark and innovative achievements over the years. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has assured workers in the state that his administration will implement the new minimum wage that is approved by the federal government. He made the commitment in response to the demands of the Nigeria Labour Congress and at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Onikon, Lagos. The governor, while speaking on the current fuel scarcity, advised Lagos residents against panic buying and storage of premium motor spirits, popularly known as petrol, saying the federal government and the major stakeholders in the oil sector are working around the clock to end the fuel scarcity. He said he has received assurances from the authorities that there is enough fuel at tank stations and the distribution of the product will be intensified to ease the current fuel scarcity across the country. The governor promised to look at some of the demands of various unions in the state, saying that his administration will ensure good welfare packages for all the workers in the state. Governor Oyebaji of Ekiti State Biodo Yebanji on Wednesday said that the fuel scarcity rocking the state and nationwide is beyond his control. The governor stated this during the May Day 2024 celebration held at Ekiti Parapo Pavilion, Ado Ekiti, Ekiti State Capital. Speaking with journalists after the program themed People First, Oyebanji said his administration has intensified efforts to ensure that the premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, is supplied to Ekiti soon. He also urged marketers in the state to desist from hoarding the product for the betterment of all. Earlier, the leadership of the Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress in their speech appealed to the state government to reinstate sacked workers of Ekiti State University, Ado Ekiti. Maliki Onose and his son, Jethro, who were kidnapped by gunmen, have been released 2 days after their abduction. Maliki and his son were kidnapped while traveling along the Benin-Owo Road in Ose local government area of Ondo State on Monday, as the hoodlums waylaid them and dragged them into the bush. The boy is said to be a student of the Nigerian Navy Secondary School, Imeri, in the council area. The victims were abducted when the father was taking his son to school after a 3-week holiday. Ondo State Commander of the Amotekun Corps, Akogun Adetunji Adeleye, confirmed the release of the victims on Wednesday. Adeleye noted that the release of the victims was made possible through the collaboration of the Navy and Amotekun operatives. Ondo State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has urged the organized labor in the state to maintain neutrality in its discharge of duties as the November governorship election draws near. Governor Aiyedatiwa said organized labor has a critical role to play in ensuring the smooth conduct of the election process. However, Aiyedatiwa, who spoke at the 2024 May Day rally, did not announce any increment in the minimum wage. The Ondo governor promised that every issue raised by the NLC and the TUC would receive careful attention and consideration as much as practicable. He said he considered the monthly steady payment of outstanding gratuities more meaningful than the unsustainable interim arrangement of 10,000 naira wage award to each pensioner. Governor Aiyedatiwa stated that steady recruitment into the state public service has been given priority attention, saying his administration has given new approval for the recruitment of over 1,000 personnel in the health sector and 2,000 personnel in the education sector. Benue State Governor Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia has said the state government will launch its own local security outfit that will consist of 10,000 youths before the end of May. He said the outfit will complement the efforts of other security agencies in tackling security challenges bedeviling the state. Governor Alia stated this during the stakeholders meeting of the All Progressives Congress held at Government House, Makurdi. He appreciated the efforts of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the security agencies in the country securing the state. Governor Alia said the launch of the state-owned security outfit will aid in securing Benue communities, enabling farmers to access their farmlands without fear. Organized labor in Kogi State has demanded the immediate execution of 35,000 naira wage award for workers in the state. In his May Day address in Lokoja, the Kogi State chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Gabriel Amari, said the current 30,000 naira national minimum wage falls short of meeting the basic needs of workers and the prevailing market conditions of the country. Kogi State NLC chairman also drew the attention of Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo to some security challenges in Kogi State. Therefore, there's a need to support community policing initiatives and enlist the services of hunters to complement law enforcement efforts. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has reaffirmed the government's commitment to prioritizing workers' welfare, declaring that the well-being of Nigerian workers is at the top of our agenda. Speaking on Wednesday during the 2024 May Day celebration in Abuja, Wike, represented by the head of service of the FCT, Atn Global Samuel, emphasized that the current administration recognizes the invaluable contributions of the workers to the nation's development and is dedicated to protecting their rights and interests. In line with this commitment, The minister explained that the government has established the FCT Civil Service Commission to promote transparency, accountability, and career progression for FCT administration workers. According to Wike, the commission will play a crucial role in ensuring that workers' rights are respected and their hard work is rewarded with opportunities for growth and development. He noted that the establishment of the FCT Civil Service Commission marks a significant milestone and the government's efforts to reform the civil service and promote workers' rights. Federal Ministry of Information and Orientation is mandated with service delivery of providing an information bank through the national achievement by ensuring permanent custody, care and control of all achievements of the federal government and making some available for research purposes. On 30th April 2024, Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Values, Olusegun Odebumi and his team marched to the Ministry of National Orientation on an oversight visit to checkmate the ministry's activities and to find out how well they have gone delivering their services. Atlantic Television Network Abuja correspondents have the reports.
The Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Values, Honorable Olusegun Odebumi and his team on 30th April 2024 paid an oversight visit to the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation and his team to find out how well and how far they have gone delivering their services. The committee views on the incomes, expenses, employment status and management of resources of the ministry. The Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Information and Orientation, Dr. Ngozi Onwidewe, was asked to give brief breakdown on the ministry's activities.
And the implementation so far, we've actually implemented everything, all our capital budget, because not much was actually appropriated, and most of our budget lines were programs which the departments carried out to ensure that the ministry was achieving the mandate. For the internally generated revenue on page 5, see the treasury number on the table there and the amount. Everything was 59,729,250 naira, and everything was remitted to the consolidated report. Usually, our IGR is usually from the federal government press, printing of the Federal Tenders Journal. There's a few other, maybe like registration of contractors, like that, and we don't touch that IGR. Everything is remitted to the CRM. So for 2024 appropriation, under the personnel, because this budget was done in 2020, the entire 4.7 billion was for the entire ministry. But that
Responding to many questions raised by the House committee members on different issues that seems wrong from the presentation of the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Ngozi said,
most of the things we have there are statutory, like the printing of the Federal Tenders Journal on every 2 weeks. So it is a standard thing. Those who have adverts will pay for the spaces, and then it is. For the FGP, it is whatever job they get in, and they will take from whatever money is paid to them. They take part of it to do the job, and now remit balance. For registration of contractors, is when there are contractors to register. A breakdown of how they are generated, but are mostly statutory sources of revenue, not influence. And then coming to the
while the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed Idris, who earlier gave an account of the federal government works done across all sectors of government in all states of federation, appreciated the House Committee for their visit to the ministry.
I must say that we have been discussing it even behind your back, that we're indeed a very lucky ministry to have a committee that aligns and also that is seeing things the way we're also seeing. Because I know the struggle, for example, the committee made during the budget defense. I know the extent that chairman of the House Committee on Information and his counterpart in the Senate did to ensure that this ministry gets the kind of budget that it requires. And like the honorable member was saying, there is just no way that we can effectively do our work with this kind of budget. Sometimes we go the extra mile using our contacts within the industry, using our goodwill to get things that ordinarily you have to pay for to get it done. I think that Nigerians, especially the media, are very ready to help. But of course, we also have to know that they are also in business. They need to power their generators, they need to pay their staff, they need to buy newsprint. Therefore, you also need to pay them. We shouldn't take our relationship with them for granted. But I thank you that you have seen this reason. And some of the things that we are doing are not things that we can even begin to enumerate here. But like I said, a 28 trillion naira budget being supported by this kind of budget to communicate to enlighten Nigerians about it is really, to say the least, not a good thing to have.
Joseph Moses, Atlantic Television Network News.
Niger State Police Command has arrested 3 suspects over alleged thuggery and illegal possession of prohibited firearms. State Police Commissioner Shawulu Dan Maman disclosed this to newsmen in Mina on Wednesday. Dan Maman said that the 3 suspects were arrested with dangerous weapons and some weeds suspected to be Indian hemp in Maitumbi, Mina. According to him, the suspects were arrested during a raid in the Coppers Lodge area led by the DPO of Maitumbi Division in collaboration with vigilante members following a distress call. The CP further said that the suspects have been transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department for further investigation, while efforts were ongoing to apprehend other accomplices at large. Dan Maman, however, advised parents and guardians to keep close watch on their wards and cautioned them against getting involved in crime that would incur the wrath of the law. Police arrest 3 suspected cultists. Operatives of the Kwara State Police Command have arrested 3 suspected cultists allegedly connected with the bloody clash which broke out between 2 rival cultist groups on Tuesday at Budoke and Yikori area of Asa local government in the state. Recall that the 2 buildings were also razed down during the violent clash in the town. The suspects are Suleiman Ismail, Mahmoud Ibrahim, and Mudashir Said, all residents of Budo Oke and Yikori, who were allegedly found in possession of a Dane gun at the time of the arrest. Police operatives have also intensified efforts to apprehend other suspects, according to a statement by the spokesperson of the command, DSP Ejire Adeyemi Toun, on Wednesday. She added that the suspects have been transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department in Lorry for further investigation, while a manhunt has been launched to track down Razak Oloruwa, who is presently at large, and other culprits involved in the crime who may have fled the scene. Rainstorm destroys 30 houses. Recent rainstorm has wreaked havoc in the Wapton community of Tafawa Baliwa local government area in Bauchi State, leaving many residents homeless. It was gathered that the rainstorm which occurred at the weekend destroyed roofs of houses, exposing inhabitants to the elements. A legislative aide to the lawmaker representing Lerebula in the Bauchi State House of Assembly, Saminu Abubakar, who confirmed the incident to journalists, assured affected residents at the houses have been identified and that measures will be taken to assist the victims. He further assured the residents of timely assistance to repair their homes before the full onset of this year's rainy season. Governor Agbu Kefas of Taraba State has assured the people of the state that the forthcoming Congress of the People's Democratic Party will be free of rancor. Speaking through the party's spokesperson, Adetarang Irame, shortly after his meeting with the State Working Committee of the party on Wednesday in Jalingo, the state capital, he expressed confidence that more people would soon abandon their political parties and embrace the PDP. The meeting, which brought together the State Working Committee of the party, was observed to be in preparation for the forthcoming congresses of the party. Assuring the people of the readiness of the party to organize free and transparent congresses, the party's leadership in the state, as made known by him, is committed to bringing rapid development to all parts of the state. He maintained that his leadership would positively impact the lives of the people, hence the need for all Tarabans, irrespective of political parties, to support him to succeed. No fewer than 7,800 unverified civil servants may lose their April salaries in Jigawa State. This is following the verification and enrollment of state and local government workers into the integrated personal payroll management system in the state. Workers' verification was characterized by challenges where workers were subjected to injuries during the rushed and ill-organized data capture exercise. This was disclosed in a communique released after the Joint Emergency State Executive Council of the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress convened to address the pressing issues by the NLC chairperson, Sanusi Al-Hassan, by the council. However, the state deputy governor, Aminu Usman, said the unverified workers are 7,783 and out of them, 4,496 who are JTIT workers have already been screened by Superb. He said the remaining permanent and pensionable workers will also be screened soon. Police Response Unit known as Haba Maza has, in a joint operation with the State Intelligence Department, apprehended one Sani Musa of Nainawa Ward, Damaturu, in connection with the stabbing of a young sales girl. This was disclosed in a statement issued on Wednesday by the Police Public Relations Officer, Yobe State Command, DSP Dongos Abdul Karim. He said the 22-year-old suspect was arrested in a hideout in possession of the victim's snatched cell phone, along with other assorted charms. He said a discreet investigation has commenced on the matter and proactive measures taken to avert future occurrences. Recall that 24-year-old salesperson Shiba Simon was stabbed by unidentified hoodlums in Damaturu, the Yobe State capital. Federal government to sanction manufacturers of substandard water pipes. Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Engineer Joseph Yutsev, has warned that the federal government would not condone with anybody, group or company that is into the production of substandard pipes, fittings and water products. Otep spoke in Kano where he inspected factory facilities of Pana Limited, a leading manufacturer of HDPE, PPR and UPVC pipes and segmented fittings. He noted part of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's agenda was to encourage local content production, but the administration will slam sanctions on anyone who produces substandard water materials. Otsev, a professor of civil and water engineering, reminded that several water schemes had failed in the past because of use of substandard pipes. The minister acknowledged Pana Limited's role in advancing Nigeria's water infrastructure and commended its dedication to innovation in the piping industry. NLC demands payment of 75 billion naira backlog. Nigeria Labour Congress in Kano State on Wednesday, May 1, demanded payment of a backlog totaling 75 billion naira accumulated since 2023. His address at the International Workers' Day held at Sani Abacha Stadium, Kano, the NLC chairman, Kano State Council, Comrade Kabiru Inuwa, also asked for the autonomy of the third tier of government, saying it was crucial to the development of the state. Inuwa called for payment of wage awards, noting that workers rely on these awards to improve their standard of living. The workers also called for the reintroduction of institution-based disbursement of vehicle loans and its upward review, saying it was essential to meeting the evolving needs of workers and providing the much-needed support to employees in acquiring vehicles that will boost dedication to service. Labour said the series of industrial disharmony was due to some unfriendly policies that impeded the proper livelihood of the working class. You are watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what they belong.
I have fought a very family.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. Tinubu reaffirms commitment to workers. President Bola Tinubu has reiterated his administration's commitment to improving the welfare and working conditions of Nigerian workers as the nation celebrates Workers' Day. In a statement signed by Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngilali, on Wednesday, May 1, President Tinubu congratulated Nigerian workers on their dedication and tireless efforts towards the nation's progress and development. The President acknowledged the contributions of workers across the nation, across various sectors, including clerical officers, security personnel, teachers, doctors, and all others who keep the nation running. He reaffirmed his administration's commitment to improving workers' welfare, citing various relief programs, including the wage award and the imminent minimum wage review. President of the Nigerian Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has assured Nigerian workers that the National Assembly and the executive will work together towards giving them a living wage and better working conditions. This is contained in a statement signed by SMA Eibo, the Special Advisor on Media and Publicity to the Senate President in Abuja on Wednesday. He extolled the sterling qualities that stood out to the Nigerian worker, saying that the Nigerian worker was noted for his patriotism, hard work, resilience, and dedication to duty. Akpabio assured that the National Assembly, under his leadership, was more than committed to ensuring the best working conditions for the workers. House of Representatives has assured the availability of 1.5 billion liters of premium motor spirits in the country that can last for 30 days. The House, through its Committee on Petroleum Resources, Downstream and Midstream, while addressing journalists on their findings, revealed that petrol products have since arrived the country, but the supply and distribution to marketers was disrupted by challenges of transport vessels that were supposed to take the products from offshore to onshore, but the logistic challenges have since been addressed. They affirmed that the House has reached out to the stakeholders in the distribution value chain, the NNPCL, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, amongst others, with a view to ascertaining the cause of the resurgence of the fuel queues across the country.
Today, the report we are getting suggests that the fuel queues have started reducing and products have started arriving at the petrol stations. We urge Nigerians not to engage in panic buying, not to be immersed in an unnecessary rush to buy products. As a country, we have a storage of over 1.5 billion liters, which can be last for at least over 30 days. More products are arriving and more products are on the high sea. The challenges that caused the destruction was the logistic issue, and that has been handled with the maritime shuttle vessels as we speak, which was to be moved product to marketers who are on standby waiting to serve the people. The logistic issue has been resolved completely, and hopefully supply to stations will increase in few days.
We strongly frown at the activities of middlemen who have taken advantage of the short disruption of supply to maximize profits and generate inordinate gain for themselves at the detriment of our people. We call on security agencies to support the NNPCL, NNDPRA, Petron, NATO, and other key stakeholders in the distribution value chain so as to ensure that such act of economic sabotage that has to do with hoarding, arbitrary increment in price, product diversion, and smuggling are detected and dealt with. Our people have been through a lot in the last few days, and we must not plunge them into further pains. We appeal to all traders and those rendering services not to unduly take advantage of these temporary challenges could be cleared in the next few days.
need for a safe and healthy work environment. They're finding solutions for climate change to the effect of Nigeria workers.
Let us turn our attention to the pressing issues of climate change and its profound impact on the well-being of workers worldwide. The increasingly severe effects of global warming, from extreme weather events to rising temperatures, pose grave threats to the health and safety of those who toil tirelessly to sustain our communities and economies. For us at the National Productivity Center, we are concerned about this, and that is why we are introducing what is called green productivity, that every organization and every individual, that whatever you do, you should go green. And starting from our homes, that the use of firewood, we should reduce, cut it out. There are coals now that are available and charcoals that are available. That anything we are doing, we have to reduce waste. Because if we don't reduce waste, in our little corner, we will not achieve Nigeria's determined contributions. Let us take decisive action together to adapt our workplaces, protect our workers, and build a resilient future. By strengthening our collaborative efforts and harnessing the power of international cooperation, we can ensure that occupational safety and health standards evolve to meet the challenges posed by climate change. Whilst thanking the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment for its dedication to health and safety of all workers, I wish to reiterate the ILO's commitment to work with the government, workers and employers, and their organizations to design and implement effective national and enterprise-level policies to improve occupational safety and health.
Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Labor and Employment, Ismail Abubakar, was represented by Jafar Musa, called on stakeholders and partners working with the safety of Nigeria workers to be more committed with effective approaches to climate change issues endangering workers in Nigeria.
As we reflect on the theme of this year's World Day for Safety and Health at Work, let us commit ourselves to action that will mitigate the effect of climate change on workers' health safety, and harness the power of collective responsibility to build a resilient and sustainable workplace and protect the health, safety, and as well as every worker. Let us lead the advocacy for the enactment of laws that will mitigate the adverse impact of climate change and empower workers with the right knowledge to adopt emerging occupational safety and health issues such as technological advancement, climate change, demographic shift, and artificial intelligence. To identify workplace intervention to the adverse effect of climate change to workers' health and safety. To update information contained in the Code of Practice so as to align with the transformational change experienced in the world of work. To ensure the implementation of an effective and efficient work ethic by workers in their various workplaces so as to prevent work-related accidents, injuries, diseases, deaths caused by climate change. And to ensure that accidents, injuries, diseases, and deaths also caused by climate change, and to ensure that employers do not neglect their responsibilities to the workers, as well as create better working conditions in line with changing climate.
While Adogo Loretta, the director of the Department of Occupational Safety and Health of the Ministry in Labor and Employment, states the purpose of the event and highlights of the healthy environment Nigeria workers deserves.
This is to create awareness and sensitization on the need for safe and healthy working environment, so as to promote the safety, health, and well-being of workers, as well as prevent work-related accidents, injuries, diseases, dangerous occurrences, and deaths. This safety, as we have mentioned before, the impact of climate change on workers' health and safety,
Federal government has reassured workers that despite the tripartite committee on the national minimum wage has not concluded its discussions, they will not experience any loss as the new minimum wage is scheduled to take effect from May 1, 2024. Minister of State Labour Nkiruka Oyeje-Ocha announced this on Wednesday while addressing Nigerian workers at the May Day celebration at the Eagle Square in Abuja. She stated that although the new national minimum wage was not available before May 1, extensive consultations have been held to guarantee that the document is released as soon as possible. Nigeria Labour Congress Chairman Joe Ajero suggested a 615,000 naira living wage for workers. Federal government has announced plans to repatriate 20,000 Nigerians from Chad and Cameroon. It said 6,000 people would be brought back from Chad while 14,000 others would be conveyed from Cameroon in the next 2 months. As of December 31st last year, 21,381 Nigerian refugees were in Chad and 120,677 others in Cameroon. It was learned that the federal government bought food and non-food items worth 2 billion naira as return package for the refugees last year. Federal Commissioner of the National Commission for Refugee, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Tijani Ahmed, announced this in Abuja at a technical working group committee on the voluntary repatriation of Nigerian refugees. The Federal Commissioner said most of the refugees were displaced by the 2022 flood, the Boko Haram crisis, the farmer-herders clashes, and the current climate change. Federal High Court in Abuja has scheduled ruling for May 30 in the application for bail filed by detained leader of the Miyetti Allah Kotahod, Bello Bodejo. Justice Ngyang Ekwo chose the date after lawyers to parties made their final submissions. Bodejo, now being held in the custody of the Defense Intelligence Agency, was on March 22nd arraigned before a federal high court in Abuja for allegedly establishing an unlawful ethnic militia group, Kungi Yazaman Lafia. He was arraigned on the 3 counts charge filed by the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation for allegedly violating the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022. Arguing Bodejo's bail application, his lawyer Ahmed Raji urged the court to admit his client to bail on health grounds. Raji said Bodejo was suffering from grave ill health, stressing that the offenses he was charged with are bailable. The lawyer cited Section 36 of the Constitution, arguing that a defendant in a criminal case is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Now, business news. Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress have appealed to the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission and power sector operators to reverse the increase in electricity tariff within 1 week. President of the unions, Joe Ajero and Festus Osifo, made the call on Wednesday in a joint speech to mark the 2024 Workers' Day in Abuja. The duo expressed dissatisfaction over the epileptic power situation in the country, which is also negatively affecting economic growth. They claimed that a nation incapable of effectively and efficiently managing its energy resources would face certain ruin. They said it was absolutely critical for the government to collaborate with the people to establish frameworks that ensure energy works for all Nigerians. Naira closed the month of April on a good footing as it gained 28.15 Naira at the official market, trading at 1,396 kobo to the dollar. Data from the official trading platform of the FMDQ exchange, a platform that oversees the Nigeria Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market, revealed that the gain represented a 1.98% appreciation for the Naira. The percentage increase is significant when compared to the previous trading date on Monday, April 29. The local currency experienced a 2-week steady fall by exchanging at 1,419 Naira to a dollar. Meanwhile, at the investors and exporters window, the Naira traded between 1,450 Naira and 1,200 Naira against the dollar. Central Bank of Nigeria has again justified its reliance on the loan deposit ratio to control the country's rising inflation. The Apex Bank also said it is ready to do whatever it takes to reduce the inflation rate. CBN's acting director of the Banking Supervision Department, Dr. Adetona Adedeji, disclosed this in CBN Talk Today, a podcast recently uploaded to the bank's website titled Loan to Deposit Ratio Adjustment. The measure for inflation started in 2019 when it was observed that there was a massive slowdown in credit growth. Speaking about the nexus between the LDR and rising inflation, he said the last Monetary Policy Committee decided to purge the financial system of excess cash by raising monetary policy rates. Now to international tidbits. Bomb hidden in a donkey cart has killed 5 people and severely injured 5 others in northeastern Kenya. According to reports, the incident happened in a Kenyan town on the border with Somalia when the explosion occurred, and no one has claimed responsibility in the area, often targeted by the Somalia-based Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab. Interior Minister Kithure Kindiki, in a prepared statement, did not identify any suspect in the attack, for which nobody immediately claimed responsibility. The Somalia-based terror group has carried out attacks in Kenya in retaliation for Nairobi's military support of Mogadishu's counter-terror efforts. Kenya is a major supporter of a broader multinational effort to stabilize the Horn. Arrested about 300 protesters during campus raids at Columbia University and the City University of New York in New York. Eric Adams, the city mayor, says a massive operation took place at Columbia. Requests to remove those who had occupied the building. City officials also alleged that outside agitators had a peaceful pro-Palestinian demonstration, echoing statement from officials elsewhere in the country. Elsewhere, the Vice Chancellor of the University of California, Los Angeles, has reported horrific acts of violence overnight at the university's own pro-Palestinian encampment. Meanwhile, U.S. universities have been gripped by protests over the war in Gaza, as students demand a boycott of companies and individuals with ties to Israel. UK government confirmed Wednesday it has detained an unspecified number of migrants in recent days who are set to be deported to Rwanda in July under its controversial new policy. It comes a week after lawmakers ended months of parliamentary wrangling and passed a contentious law allowing some asylum seekers to be deported by declaring Rwanda to be a safe third world country. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has vowed to stop migrants arriving on small boats from mainland Europe, vowed last week to begin detaining people promptly before deportation flights start within 10 to 12 weeks. Reports of immigration enforcement officers holding people earmarks for the flights emerged earlier this week. On Wednesday, the Interior Ministry confirmed that a series of nationwide operations were underway. Interior Minister James Cleverly said they were working at pace to swiftly detain those who have no right to be here so we can get flights off the ground. And now entertainment news. Nigerian actor and singer Adams Kehinde, popularly known as Lege Miami, has said the president's son, Seyi Tinubu, has offered warring Afrobeat stars Wizkid and Davido. Wizkid and Davido were recently engaged in a fierce social media war on X. Reacting, Lege Miami cautioned the duo to put themselves in order, saying he has reported the issue to Seyi Tinubu. Speaking in a video message shared via his Instagram account, the actor said Tinubu has offered to reconcile Wizkid and Davido in the United Kingdom. Efforts to reconcile Wizkid and Davido over the years have proved abortive, as the duo always rekindles their beef after every reconciliation. Alejandra Mariza Rodriguez, a 60-year-old lawyer and journalist from La Plata, Argentina, has shattered expectations and written the rules of beauty pageants by winning Miss Universe Buenos Aires, Argentina. Her recent victory as Miss Universe Buenos Aires makes a pivotal moment, not only for her journey, but also for the evolution of Miss Universe organization towards greater inclusivity and diversity. She will now represent Buenos Aires at the upcoming national selection for Miss Universe Argentina in May 2024. This groundbreaking shift is a direct result of the Miss Universe organization decision in September 2023 to eliminate age restrictions for contestants. Previously, only women between 18 and 28 were eligible, but now any woman over 18 can participate, opening doors for a wider range of experiences and perspectives. Rodriguez's triumph shows that women of all ages are beautiful. This victory signifies a pivotal moment in the evolution of beauty pageants, paving the way for a more inclusive and representative future. Here now is Atn Sports News. Newly appointed Super Eagles head coach Finidi George has said he will need the support of the Nigeria Football Federation and soccer-loving Nigerians to succeed on his new assignment. The 53-year-old's appointment was confirmed by the NFF on Monday. Finidi will express his delight with the appointment, promised to give his best to make the Saints successful. The former winger is expected to sign a 2-year contract with the NFF. His immediate task is to ensure the Super Eagles qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The former African champions are yet to record a win in the qualifiers after playing 2 consecutive draws against Lesotho and Zimbabwe. The Super Eagles will face South Africa and Benin in their next 2 games in the qualifiers in June. Chelsea defender Thiago Silva has received offers from 3 London clubs after announcing he will leave Stamford Bridge at the end of the season. Silva will leave the Blues when his current contract expires this summer. The Brazilian has been tipped to return to his country, having reached a verbal agreement to join Fluminense as a free agent. However, Silva may now have a decision to make after receiving offers from 3 London teams. The idea of continuing to live in London could appeal to Silva and his family. The player's wife and children are also set to stay in the capital regardless of where Thiago Silva moves in the summer. Benjamin Frederick has expressed his delight after signing a permanent contract with Brentford. Frederick joined the Bees on a year-long loan from Simoben Academy last summer. The centre-back has now signed a deal until June 2028 after impressing with Brentford's B team. The 18-year-old was part of Nigeria's squad for the 2023 FIFA U20 World Cup in Argentina. Frederick is expected to remain with Brentford's B team and will occasionally train with the main team. He was named as a substitute for Brentford Premier League games against Manchester City and Tottenham Hotspur, as well as both Emirates FA Cup third-round matches against Wolverhampton Wanderers. And that's the Global News for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Port Harcourt Aba train commences operation. NLC laments rising food prices. Tinubu reaffirms commitment to the Naira rebound.